Day, February 7, 2024, which happens to be National Fettuccine Alfredo Day. Ken Landfier on 590 and 106.9 FM WKZO. Speaking of food, one of the big eating days of the year is coming up Sunday, the day of the big game. Shanthi Apello is health and wellness spokesperson at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, joins us frequently to talk about food and health issues. Good morning, Shanthi.
Good morning.
Are you okay with fettuccine Alfredo?
You know, I think there's a time and place for everything. I should definitely gulp some of that down.
Throw a little shrimp in there and you got me. Well, we're going to talk about some ideas for serving food for the gang on Sunday, and Shanthi's got some facts and figures to share with us this morning, but I ran across this one this morning. I don't know about this one, but it said the Calorie Control Council reporting that Americans will consume 4 million pounds of fat on Sunday while watching the big game and everything that goes with it. It is a pretty serious eating day, isn't it?
Yeah, 4 million. That just made my eyes big. Yeah, it's a big eating day, and in Michigan, our top appetizer is actually pigs in a blanket. That surprised me.
Really? Oh, I would never have guessed that, although it's one of my favorites. But I wouldn't think that was at the top of the list. That's amazing.
Yeah, and apparently entrees are kind of the big thing. About 70% of Americans skip the entree and they do stick to the appetizers when they watch the big game. But I think, most Super Bowl parties or big game parties I've been to have had pizza, wings, fried snacks. There's a lot of sugary drinks, a lot of alcohol. And I think what ends up happening is that when we're having a great time with friends, where the television has the good commercials and the game is going on, it's very easy to mindlessly snack, especially when that food is so available.
Well, it is a big eating day, but it doesn't have to be an unhealthy eating day. And I know you have some suggestions, some recipes perhaps to try for the big game on Sunday.
I do, yeah. So the first one is going to be baked mozzarella sticks. Have you ever made them in the oven before?
Baked mozzarella? No, I don't believe so. Unless you count heating up frozen ones, but that doesn't really count, does it?
Well, you're right, because sometimes when you buy the ones from the store and you want to reheat them, they have been fried before. So they're actually very easy to make things. And so what I recommend doing is freezing them first. This is going to prevent them from getting all melty when you get them into the oven and are ready to serve them. So I freeze them first, dip them in some batter. So we, of course, do just flour, egg, and then some panko breadcrumbs with some Italian seasoning and Parmesan cheese. Do a little double dip in the egg and then the panko. And then you literally just spray it with some olive oil, bake it for about 8 minutes, and they come out so nice. That cheese pull comes out just like you would in a fried one.
Sounds delicious. Nachos are a big favorite, too, on events like this.
Yes, I love nachos, and the nachos cheese sauce is definitely the star of the show, if you will. But the thing about the cheese sauces is that they're often heavily processed, right? They've got the stabilizers, the preservatives, and it makes sure that they stay smooth for the dipping and the drizzling, which we want, right?
Yes,
but,
we do.
Of course, having too much of that ultra-processed stuff isn't great for our health. So I do have a way that you can make that with cottage cheese.
Okay.
Yeah. So we start out with some cottage cheese, just half a cup, and then we do just 1.5 ounce of a block of cheddar cheese. So we get it from the block and not the shredded kind. And the reason I say that is because the pre-shredded cheese has this non-sticking agent. And so when you melt that together with the cottage cheese, it can actually separate.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to swear off the shredded mozzarella cheese after that. Really, it's like it's like sprayed on or something.
Yeah, so they treat it with it so that, whenever you are buying your pre-shredded cheese, it doesn't stick together, which can be good, but in this case of melting, it doesn't do us any favors. So we mix that, and I use an immersion blender, but you can use any kind of blender together with some taco seasoning, some garlic powder, some salt, and then you literally just assemble it like you would any nachos on top of some tortilla chips with all the veggies you can think of.
Very nice. I like that idea. One more to share, and I think if you were to say to your friends, hey, I've got some green beans here, they might give you a funny look, but it's amazing what you can really do with green beans to make them a very delicious appetizer.
Definitely. I think of these green beans as something that you would see at an upscaled restaurant that everyone just wants to tear into, even though they're vegetables.
Yeah.
So these are sesame seared green beans. And so I really like them for something like this because they have a crunch. They don't tend to lose them as they sit out and people are digging into the appetizers. And so what I do is I heat a pan over medium heat and get the green beans really nice and softened. And then I turn the temperature down and add some Thai seasoning paste, some low-sodium soy sauce, some sambal oleg for some spice, and then you let that cook for a few more minutes, and then finally you'll drizzle in some sesame oil over the green beans. I don't do that earlier on in the process. I stick with olive oil for that part because sesame oil is very, very sensitive to heat, and so it can burn, and so you get that best flavor if you add it towards the end. And then it's this beautiful, saucy mixture at the bottom that's served on top of the beans, and you can serve them with some sesame seeds and lime juice.
Sounds delightful. Well, Shanthi Apello, Health and Wellness Spokesperson at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, has been with us this morning to share some recipes for your guests on Big Game Sunday and more details on how to prepare these and probably some pretty good other ideas, too, available on your website.
Yes, ahealthiermichigan.org. That's what we've got, all the recipes. And we've also got so many other holidays coming up, so all good stuff on there.
Oh, yes, we do. And in fact, Shanthi will be back with us, I believe, on Monday. We're going to talk about Valentine's Day on Monday, which is a week from today, boys and girls. Don't forget about that. Shanthi, thanks so much. We'll chat again next week and appreciate your time this morning.
Thanks, Ken. Bye-bye.